Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at Sunset Gower Studios in Hollywood. I'm delighted to be joined with the very, very talented Damian with his fantastic film, The Astronaut. Let's take another clip.
I know Abuelita supports me, even though she rolls her eyes and laughs. This is my favorite part. I know today is the day. I prayed. I asked Papa Noel. Even Abuelita thinks so.
Terminal count, Atlas systems, propulsion, go. Hydraulics, go. Mission manager.
Mission manager is go.
Thank you, babe. LMP.
It is an honor and a pleasure, and thank you for being part of the New Filmmakers LA family and bringing your absolutely incredible film, The Astronaut, to us to the big screen. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us the brief synopsis.
Yeah, so The Astronaut is based on this little Mexican girl that lives by the port. She has asthma because of the air pollution, and so she wants to escape. And she thinks the Long Beach Lighthouse is her way out, is a space shuttle. So she wants to be an astronaut.
It is a beautiful story told through the eyes of this young, amazing girl character that you created. We're all just watching it completely enthralled by her personality and the love that she brings to her character, and then how this character evolves in her love for space, which is just amazing. Where did the inspiration come for you in creating this project?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a lengthy story. I'll try to keep it tight. But I've always loved space myself, and I was thinking about how do we make space feel like you've seen it for the first time? Just remembering back as a child. What was that like? Because I remember for me, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Just like, wait, there's something more than what's on
Beyond
this planet?
your brain, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And so actually I was starting up The Heart of Long Beach, which is a feature anthology, a lot like Paris Chez Them. So it's going to be a lot of directors kind of in Long Beach just making a statement of this is Long Beach,
Wow.
And so the theme is based on resilience. So I needed something that was simple and easy and just sweet that everybody can understand, because even if I send it to, let's say, Long Beach, government officials or anybody else that's not in the industry, I just wanted something that's really going to be heartwarming, that everybody can feel like they can be on the same page for it. And so I thought, hey, why not create like a superhero child character, And so that was the inception of it. But also I came to New Filmmakers LA last year. I didn't feel Latin enough, as far as like submitting to any like Latin film festivals. And then I met amazing crew, and I just felt super inspired. All the staff there and just all the directors there were just like, your voice is important. So that was kind of the inception of like, okay, I need to make something. And so from there, the universe kind of converged into just helping me make this happen. And so there was a NASA film festival as I was already writing this, this treatment and this, and so that made me make it within 3 months, right? I had a deadline now, and so.
That's great.
Yeah, right? And I've also like, when I bike around Long Beach, I always look at like different architecture. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of like a spaceship or some sort of,
Yeah.
And so my mind always thinks like a little kid anyways. So I think you have to as a director, right?
Yes.
And so all of that was happening, and then at the same time, the most wonderful and strangest thing occurrence happened, which was I was also shooting a PSA about children and people around the port that suffer from ailments due to air pollution, so like asthma and throat cancer. And so as we were supporting, that campaign through video, I was just learning about that. And I was like, this needs to be, a part of the resilience story of Long Beach, And so as I was writing it, I generally write from a male's perspective. I think it's just, happens. And so I have a 5-year-old niece though, and I just love her to death. And she, actually a lot of the facial expressions were based on her.
Oh,
and
really?
So, yeah, and I was like, I want to make something that she's gonna love watching. And so I switched the main character to a female character.
Oh,
and
my
so
goodness.
That was kind of like all the inspirations combined,
What was, your chosen, lead young actor did such an incredible job. Like, I mean, it was so special, and I understand that she was there last night, and I'm sure it was special for her to see herself on the big screen. But I mean, she gave everything. She gave us everything in that role, and just the feeling and the energy and just the heart and her exploration through that young imagination. Like, how how was the experience working for you as a director, working on this particular film, working with her, and this particularly unfolding of this journey, which is so inspirational as well?
She applied, and I saw right away, and I was like, this is her. And just her look and her sound, just everything. She just nailed it. And she was able to, I've only worked with child actors, I think, one other time, but this is the first time casting a lead. And some of the other auditions, they had amazing facial expressions, but trying to memorize any lines. There was just something that wasn't quite there, right?
Yeah,
and she got everything. And she's just super pro. She's been on Apple TV and all over the place, so she just had the experience of being on pro sets. Her mom is also incredible and just worked as a coach with me. But the other, I think, important thing is just putting yourself in their shoes, right? I would just crouch down or get on her level and just like look eye to eye instead of just kind of have a script in hand and barely looking at her and giving her attention. And I just really met her where she was at. And we were able to bond over space, and I think that was a playfulness we got to have on set. It's just like,
isn't that great, just to bond over space? Like, I love that. I love that.
That was so cool.
Did you teach in her stuff that obviously I felt that maybe you have learned, and to her as well?
Yeah, and I think there's a whole journey making this, because NASA required 10% of archival footage. So 10% of your movie had to be archival footage or audio.
Oh, that's amazing. I was going to ask how you got that. That's amazing. Yeah.
So that was kind of part of the festival.
Wow.
And I just learned so much as I was doing that. I learned about Ellen Ochoa, who was the first Latina in space.
Amazing.
Yeah, and so I was teaching her about that, and we blew up a big poster of Ellen Ochoa playing the clarinet in a space shuttle. And so she's like zero gravity. You can see her feet strapped down. And one of the little bits that's pretty cute about the film is that in an interview that I watched hours and hours of NASA footage, she said that was her favorite photo ever taken in space. And so that was just a little cherry on top, putting that in there. So
what was that element like? Because obviously you've given us through this young, wonderful, angelic character that was, dreaming about being in space. And then that mixing with the true story of the first Latina woman to be in space as an astronaut, like mixed with that, and then the fact you got in contact with her as well and had her as part of your story. How was that? Like, that must feel surreal.
Oh, it was surreal, because as a winner of the NASA Film Festival, they took us on a private tour of the Johnson Space Center. So just being there,
yes, amazing, right?
Yeah, it was incredible. And then one of the tour guides who operates the festival, he's worked directly with Ellen Ochoa. And once I found that out, he came up to me and said, oh my gosh, loved your film, and I used to work with Ellen. And so I just asked him, I was like, is there any way you could send it to her, just in case if she hasn't seen it? And so then she emailed back a response. I loved it, happy to sign photos. And so she signed photos for the crew and for Nora.
Wow.
And I was able to give Nora, that photo last night at New Filmmakers. So
how special.
It was so special. And yeah, I just loved every moment of that. And doing the research, I think, was important to really care about Ellen's character, even though she doesn't have any lines, but she's so important for Nora's
absolutely
character, right?
And the greatness is that you never know who you're going to touch by watching that film. And like last night, I loved that a year ago you attended as attendee, and then a year later your film is in the festival. And so to have that as part of New Filmmakers LA, the Academy, in celebration of Latinx storytellers, and then displaying your film for the eyes of this young girl, which mirrored this, first Latina to ever go to space in front of an audience of a celebration of Latinx community. How special was that?
Oh, it was, my heart was so warmed, and it felt like kind of meant to be. It's like, again, the universe converging to make this happen. And I've had at some other festivals, and even last night, people come up to me and they're like, I really feel so inspired by watching this. Like, I feel like a little kid again, or I feel like I need to chase my dreams. And I think that was the whole point of it, and to not give up. And even in the film, she says, my grandma says, like, space is for men. And so that was kind of a little, reflection of what that must have been like for Ellen Ochoa as the first
100%.
Latina. So I think that's important to kind of see all those elements of struggle, but still being able to achieve your dream.
I was, being in the movie theater and seeing your film with us last night, and just, thinking how many dreams you just ignited again, like last night, and also seeing someone that is from a community that maybe you can aspire to or been part of in some form of capacity is also something so important as well, which was very, very special.
Yeah.
What is next for you?
So the Heart of Long